Hey there, welcome back. My name is Katie and this is Louisiana Cooking and Living. If you're new to my channel, we welcome you. And today we are going to be doing some gluten-free sandwich bread. I've seen numerous YouTubers say that they cannot find a gluten-free sandwich bread they really enjoy. And my daughter has recently become gluten-free because of some health issues. And I've been trying to find some recipes for her. And I came across this one on Pinterest and I will link it below. It's the first sandwich bread recipe I tried and it is perfect. She says it is delicious and we like it also. It kind of has more of a texture of like a quick bread, like a banana nut bread or a zucchini bread, something like that. But it's also, maybe it's a cross between, we'll say it's a cross between like that kind of bread and a classic white bread. It does have enough texture or substance that you can slice it and use it for a sandwich, but it has a little bit of a fluffy texture. I'm not quite sure what to say about the banana bread, that crumbly texture. Maybe we'll say it like that, but it doesn't crumble. You can use it for a sandwich. So I'm excited to share this with you and we're just gonna go ahead and get started. I will say I'm gonna be using this King Arthur 1-for-1, measure for measure, gluten-free flour. If you buy this at like Walmart, I think, or Target, something like that I looked at, it's $8.99, I think, for a smaller bag than this. I bought this bag at Costco for, I think, $8.99, and it is 5 pounds. I was at Costco yesterday, and they had these bags for $5.99. I'm not sure how long that's going to be the price. They did have that asterisk that people say is the Death Star, meaning they will not get this product back. I did buy 3 bags, so if you're looking for flour like this, run to your Costco and stock up if you need to. So this is what we're going to be using, and we're going to go ahead and get started. This recipe, it says to use a mixer. I did this by hand last time I did it. It turned out perfectly fine. So we're going to go by hand today. You can use a stand mixer, a hand mixer, or you could do it by hand like we're going to do. So let's get started. So we're going to start off by putting all of our wet ingredients into our bowl, and those are going to be, let's see, 1.5 cups of warm water. Let me get my water getting warm. We're going to add 2 eggs that are room temperature. We're going to add, I'm going to measure my vegetable oil first. I'm using olive oil today. I didn't have avocado oil. You can use whatever kind of vegetable oil you want to use. We're going to measure our oil first so that our honey slides out of our measuring cup easily. So we need 1/4 cup of each. And next our honey. All right, so this slides right on out because we had that oil in there first. Makes our measuring cup clean. And the last is our water. I already put 1/2 cup in there. We'll put the other half, break up our egg yolks, kind of give this a whisk. Next we're going to add our, and I may not be even following her recipe, this is just how I've started making it, the order of ingredients. So we're going to do a packet of yeast. She says instant yeast. I always buy active yeast. It, I guess, doesn't matter. So we're going to do 2 1/4 teaspoons, or 1 packet. Give this another mix. And this recipe really is a dump and go kind of thing. You don't have to let the yeast bloom. We're going to add a teaspoon of baking powder. A teaspoon of salt. And so, because we're using gluten-free flour, yeast needs that gluten to give it structure to help it rise. And of course, this flour does not have that. So what you use instead is a fibrous substance, and we're going to be using psyllium husk fiber. And the first time I pulled this recipe out to use it, I totally forgot I would need to have something like that. And then I remembered I had this in pill form that I had been taking just for digestive support. And so what I did is you need, let's see, 1 tablespoon. I have my little measuring cup here, and these capsules will open up. And I just measured out a tablespoon. Let's see if you can see this. When I open these, the powder, and these just slide apart, these little gelatin capsules. It just is a powder and it just dumps right on out. So I just measured out a tablespoon of this fiber. It comes in a bulk bag. I'm not sure. I think it probably is in the vitamin supplement aisle is where you would find that. That's also where I got these. So we need a tablespoon. And I should count how many of these that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it looks like we're going to do 10 is what we need. 10 of these capsules. Now, of course, every capsule is going to be a different size unless you get the same brand, I'm assuming. So 10 of those. But before I put this in here, I'm going to go ahead and put my flour in here. We need 3 cups of our gluten-free all-purpose flour. And when we do mix this up, it will be like a batter more than a dough. And this recipe does make 1 loaf. All right, I'm going to add my fiber here on the top. And then we're just going to use our dough whisk here. This is like a Danish dough whisk. And it says you're going to knead this for 5 minutes in your stand mixer, but honestly, I really didn't even do that when I did this last time because it doesn't have gluten to really form and knead. You don't need to do that. I really just mixed it until it was thoroughly combined and then a little bit more so it was kind of started to form maybe a ball. So the texture's kind of getting smoother now, not as, I don't know, smoother. I don't even know what to say. And that's really all I did. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our loaf pan. You can grease it and spray it. I found that it kind of stuck and it was hard to come out. So I'm going to use parchment paper in here. And I don't even grease the parchment paper. So if you crumble up your parchment, it tends to stay in place. All right, so now we're going to scrape our dough into our loaf pan. Or our batter, whichever you want to call it. Now it says all we're going to do is just flatten this out into our pan. All right, we're going to cover this, and we are going to, let's see, set a warm, draft-free place to rise until bread reaches 2/3 the top of the pan. Mine is already at the top of the pan. About 30 minutes. And then we are going to preheat the oven to 350 degrees, and then we will bake this for 40 to 50 minutes. So I'm just going to put a towel over this, and we're going to set this aside and let it rise. All right, so as you can see, it didn't really rise too much, and I think that's more about hydrating the flour so it's not as grainy, because gluten-free can have a grainy texture. You need to let it sit and hydrate. So we've been sitting for about 30 minutes. I have my oven on 350, and we're going to bake this for 40 to 50 minutes, and you want it to have an internal temperature of about 205 degrees. So we'll check the temperature at about 40 minutes, and we'll go from there. So we'll see you when this is done. All right, we'll see you back. All right, we're going to check our temperature here. It's not as brown as it's been in the past, but I'm just going to check it. It's been the 40 minutes. So we're only about 181. So we're going to go the extra 10 minutes there. It said 40 to 50 minutes. We're going to go ahead and go the 50 minutes. All right, we're going to go for 10 more minutes. All right, we're looking good with our temperature. That took us 1 hour, and we're going to take this out and let it cool completely, and then I'll show you my trick for slicing it. All right, this is going to be our trick for slicing our bread. You can use this for your Dutch oven loaves, your regular white bread, this gluten-free bread. This works perfectly when you have it cooled. Use an electric knife. This is just a Cuisinart electric knife. This is all this is. Very simple. And it cuts through your bread beautifully. So let's go ahead and cut it up. Let's look at this slice here. It's still a little warm, so it's kind of moist looking. But here, you see, it holds up beautifully. You can make a sandwich with that. It is a little bit more of a, what was the word I used earlier? A crumbly texture maybe, but it is perfect for a sandwich and it tastes good, which is the most important part. So we're going to go ahead and put a little butter on this and give it a try. I had some butter sitting on the counter softening. My bread is still slightly warm, so it's going to butter beautifully on here. See, it holds up. This works perfect for sandwiches. If you need to make breadcrumbs, you can make this and then slice it and dry it out in the oven and crumble it up for breadcrumbs. All right, and here we go. And we'll just go ahead and give this a taste. All right, we're going to go ahead and give our bread a taste. Let me set this down. All right, here we go. It's so good. If you let it cool completely, this is still a little bit, just a tad warm. You could probably slice this even thinner using an electric knife, but I just wanted you to see how it's going to be firm enough to make a sandwich. It's not going to fall apart. The texture is good. The taste is great. This is so good. If you need gluten-free, you have somebody in your family that needs gluten-free, this is the bread for you. Of course, it's not white like a white bread, but it tastes just like a white bread. Sorry, it's so good. I had to get another bite, and I love bread. Well, I hope you give this recipe a try. Thanks for watching. If you want to follow along, I can post some more recipes right here for you to check out. I have a whole bread playlist, and I'm going to be making a gluten-free playlist as I come across these different recipes I want to try out. I have done a lemon blueberry muffin a few weeks ago that's gluten-free, and we'll see you next time. Oh, I'll put my logo over here, and you can touch that if you haven't subscribed, and we will hope you follow along. Thanks for watching.